with the day in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Saying to second guessing, I won't call you lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a light I will get me from one other day.
Okay, I'll turn the mics on. I'm sitting here talking to Terry off mic. I'm just like, oh, all the things I want to talk about this morning. You just can't even imagine. It has been a wild time. And good morning. How you doing? This is 1100 WSG. I'm trying to decide which microphone I'm going to push up. I've been out 2 days, and I can't even remember which microphone I need to turn on. This one. Go ahead and talk to me. I think it's that one right there. Yeah, I got you. Hello. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
I'm a lunatic.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, except we just got back from Kansas City. Terry got to bear witness to this, and I'm missing an iPad, which is probably in the truck in Clarksville that might be getting ready to go back out. So my dear husband is having to frantically look through the house to see if he can find the iPad.
Because it's a rental.
It's a rental truck. We always rent trucks when we travel because we drive junk. I don't care anything about trucks or cars as long as it gets me down the road. I would rather spend my money other places than pay a monthly car payment. I just don't. And insurance. We started that. We have 4 boys. We had 4 teenage boys all at the same time. And our insurance agent at the time said, here's what you do. You pay cash for cars. You carry liability. You have an umbrella to protect you if anything terrible should happen. And then he says, if they wreck it, you get them another one. Because he says, otherwise you will never be able to pay for your insurance. And so we started doing that. We're like, I kind of like the world with no car payment.
Yeah.
And so I think there's only been one time since that I've had a car payment, and it was just for a brief moment. And I love it that way. But you don't want to take vehicles with nearly 300,000 miles on them on road trips. Now, we did it when the kids were little. I can remember being on like the Mackinac Bridge driving, and one of our old Suburbans, I think, turned over 300 or 400. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
If that car, somebody hit us in that car, I think that car still be running. Because it was an old Chevy, man, and it had an engine that just
built like
quick.
a tank.
Probably got 8 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that. But it was a beast, man. That thing would run. And anyway, I remember there's video somewhere of that thing turning over some kind of, milestone mile. And anyway, that's what we do. So we rent vehicles, and we rented a truck to go to Kansas City to see my nephew. I talk a lot about my nephew, but he's like 46 years old. You're getting old, Josh, and seeing his sweet family. So didn't get to see his oldest daughter though, and her babies. So, but anyway, it was
Good
just
trip.
Yeah, it was
weather.
one of those last minute. Oh, yeah. Until we were coming home yesterday, we got caught up in the storms coming into Kansas City yesterday. They had some tornado threats and all that. So we were trying to get out of it. But it was just one of those, we just needed to get away. We just needed a break. And we'd been, it's like my mom's gone, my sister's gone. So it's just me and my brother and our families. And so we've got Josh up in Kansas City, who's more like a really younger sibling because we were young when he was born. And so we've got to make those connections because he's not coming in to see my mom anymore. His mom's gone, so we don't have that connection.
Right.
So you got to make a really strong effort. My sister's best friend's in Paducah, so we stopped and grabbed her and we went because she's like a second mama to him, and so we just had the best time. Good. It was just a great trip, but it was just a few days. And Lee Marie, thank you. Last minute, I said, "Can you cover Monday and Tuesday?" And she was like, "Yes," and she did. Thank you, sister. Thank you. And then I was looking at my schedule driving down the road yesterday, and I was like, I knew Shawn Elmore was going to be coming in, but she was saying she couldn't get here until about 7:30, and I was like, well, this would be a great time to talk to Terry about the fishing rodeo because it's not this Saturday, it's the next. Is that correct?
It's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday?
Yeah. Isn't this Saturday the 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this Saturday.
Oh, I thought it was the 14th. Oh, well, I'm so glad we got you in here because I had in my head that it was next weekend.
Yeah. No, it's Saturday. June 7th.
And it is the best time. I can't go because my grandson I can't take my grandson because he is in travel ball. Baseball people are crazy. And I'm talking to my whole family. They love it. They love it. My family, they love it. It's what they do. I call it a thief. I think it just robs us of our time. And that's all we get to do is baseball now. And it's like, whatever. But it just wears me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Wears me out a little bit.
It will.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But he's good. I mean, he's an excellent little ball player, or he wouldn't be making travel teams. You know how that goes. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're like at Edwin Warner Park all day Saturday. It's like, and Friday night they have a 8:00 Friday night game for 8-year-olds.
Yep.
What are you thinking? Are you kidding me?
Oh, it'll take all your time.
Yes, it will. But we've got the fishing rodeo. I'm telling you, that's the thing. I'm hoping that he sees. I'm hoping that this is the second year we've done travel ball. I'm hoping this will be the last one because he sees he's missing everything else.
Yeah.
It's like he loves fishing rodeo. He came, he had the best time ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, well, fishing rodeo's coming up. And he's like, can we go? I'm like, you got travel ball. I'm making a point to let him see you're missing this because you're doing travel ball.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta choose.
Yeah.
And so, and his dad's the same way because they want to hunt and do some things like that. And there's absolutely no time because of the other stuff that they're doing. So you have to make choices. And the best choice this Saturday, go to the fishing rodeo.
Fishing rodeo.
Yes. If
Register for the fishing rodeo.
Yeah. How many of you got registered right now?
Last time we checked, it was right over 100.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. But some will come up at the last. Won't they come in late?
Oh, yeah.
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 Always. But what you'll have to do is when you get there, you'll have to go register.
No, you can register online.
But I'm saying if you don't register, if you get up there and you're like, well, I'm not registered.
If you're there after 8:00, if you get there, if you get there before 8:00 and you haven't registered yet, there'll be a QR code.
Oh, okay.
So you can still do it on your phone, but we really want you to do it before you get there.
So you'll have numbers. What were the numbers last year?
Man, it was crazy last year. Last year was the biggest fishing rodeo that we've ever had. We were like 300 and something fishing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
There wasn't, I don't know of any empty space on the banks.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you have to people come in and they get their spot, boy, and you better not cross over them and all that kind of stuff. And everybody's nice, but it gets to be very competitive.
It does.
So, and you have those ones that know where to fish and they know where to set up.
They do.
And they pull in a lot of fish. And I'm some of them that they pull in. I mean, what was the winner last year? Do you know how many they pulled in?
Oh, well, we have two categories.
Right.
We have whoever catches the most fish, boy and girl that catches the most fish, and boy and girl catches the biggest fish.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we have two categories.
Who catches the most?
I think the biggest catfish was the biggest one, right at 5 pounds.
Okay.
5 pounds something.
Okay, 5 pounds. That's a nice fish.
Yeah.
A nice fish. And it's mostly catfish and
Catfish, bluegill.
Yeah.
There's crappie in there.
Yeah.
Shell cracker.
Yeah.
There's everything.
Yeah. But it's
shout
fun.
out to TWRA too.
Yes.
Because man, they're really great.
Yes.
They take care of us. They put fish in there and get us ready for the fishing rodeo. So we really do appreciate them.
So, I mean, there's just so many fun things going on.
Great partnership.
Yeah.
But if you'll go to www.springfieldtn.gov/fish.
Okay.
And that's how you register.
Do it again.
www.springfieldtn.gov/fish.
Okay.
And get on there and register. And then I think registration will cut off at 8:30 online. So if you get there after 8:30, you'll have to do a paper registration.
Okay.
And so it helps us keep up with the numbers, obviously, but then it also helps us. They'll fish from 8 to 10. They'll fish for 2 hours. And then after that, we'll start calling names for the kids to come up and get their prize.
Okay.
And that's where the registration helps us to make sure every kid gets a prize. And then after they're done, after you get a prize, you can go back and fish all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to go home. It's not like it's over.
No.
It's not over. You just come up there and get your prize, and then you can decide what you want to do.
And the adults can fish then after it's over because this is
over,
for the kiddos.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Up to 14.
Yeah.
So after it's over, then the adults can fish. That's right. Free fishing day, all state of Tennessee.
I love it. So anybody can go fishing. And we did last year. Well, it was the year before when we went. And he got a fishing rod that he's still using. He was so proud of that fishing rod. And he was needing one too. Nice fishing rod that he got as his prize. And he wasn't one of the early picks. I mean, he was on down the line. So a lot of people are like, well, if I'm not an early pick, you won't. No, seriously. You have no idea.
Yeah.
How many that you'll get. It is just amazing.
If you're the last name called, you will not receive a lesser prize. Oh, it switched.
Oh, I was going to show you what I just got from.
What is? Oh, I'm
We're not going to tell. We're going to let her tell.
That's funny.
Sean might be a little bit late.
Yeah.
So anyway, God bless you, Sean. I love you so much. I saw that pop up, and I thought at first it was my husband, and I was like, "That's the wrong number." And I was like, "Oh, I know who that is." Though, ugly, as my friend Tim Martin used to call him. He's passed, but ugly. The thing that battles us who are trying to live for Jesus is going to come at us. It's going to come at us.
Yeah.
Just like losing my iPad. Losing my iPad. That's another. They're going to get me at school if I don't find that iPad because I accidentally dumped water on my computer. And I'm just like, I was working, guys. I was working on my vacation, and it's somewhere. We'll find it. I mean, it's fine, but I'm just like,
it will be found.
It will be found. In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus. It will be found.
It will be found. Back to the fishing rodeo. I'm sorry, that just distracted me. Poor Sean. Prayers for you, sister. We need a warning for her. I guess I've told it. She says she's getting a ticket. I'm sorry. I guess I just kind of gave it away.
It's out there now.
It's out there now. I'm sorry, Sean. In the name of Jesus, she needs a warning. That's a busy lady.
Yes.
She's working for the kingdom. Come on. All right. But anyway, the fishing rodeo is an exceptionally fun event. It is so much fun. But we stayed for just a little bit after it ended last year or 2 years ago. Then we went and fished our creek.
Oh, yeah.
He caught a bass.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, he caught a nice little bass after that. So we had the best day.
Yeah.
It was just the best day. But
there's still plenty of opportunity to fish once it's over. We want you to stick around. Some of the young kids, that's the reason why we do it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then we hand out the prizes then. Yeah. And then you got the ones that are pretty serious about it, and they'll just hang around and they'll keep going, fill their stringers up. And
I love it.
Time. Yeah.
And go have a fish fry that night.
And all the sponsors, and there's so many, I don't have time to name them all, but if you want to go on the city website, you can see everybody that's brought us fishing poles and we've had people give us cash money to go to Walmart and just buy fishing poles, or they'll go buy the fishing poles and bring them in. It's not just businesses, but individuals. We just have people come up all the time, and we just like to, we've got a sign in there about the fishing rodeo. We like to carry them in there and get a picture made with them and tell them how much we appreciate them and put that on our website. City website.
Always needing sponsors, and this is put on. It's a thing that goes on statewide with the free fishing day, but the city put this is y'all's baby.
Yes. Yes.
How long have y'all been doing this?
28 years.
Wow.
27 years. 28 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you been doing all of them?
I have.
Because I was going to say, how long have you been with the city?
It'll be 30 years in August.
Wow. Was this one of the first things you're like, we need to do this? Was this like one of your first ideas, or was it somebody else's idea?
No. When I started 30 years ago, I was outside maintenance. My first job was hanging a water fountain at Sleepy Hollow football field.
I love that though. So when did you work your way into being in the position you're in now? I'm just curious. How long did that take you?
I've been director since full-time director since 2016. Tony passed away in November of 2015.
Okay.
So I became interim until sometime in 2016.
Okay.
So since then, I've been the director. Before that, I was superintendent. Before that, I was crew leader. And before that, I was maintenance.
I love it. That's really cool. I love to see journeys like that because it's a job that just suits you.
I love it.
You come in here with a big smile on your face. You can tell you love what you do every single day that you go to work, and that's just such a reward. I mean, that's when we have a city that have a lot of people like you that love their job, and it's obvious because when you come into our city, it's just obvious that the people who are working for the city and the county love what they do, and because you see it. Yeah. You see it with the perfection that you see out there. So,
our city manager, he preaches to us.
He's awesome.
Customer service, and that's our job, and to serve the citizens of Springfield and give them the best product that we can.
And I love it. And
we always try to do.
Now the big 4th of July thing, is that y'all or the county? That's y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you guys
Freedom
too.
Fest.
Freedom Fest, and we're on the edge of that. It'll be coming up right behind. Is that your next big event after your fishing rodeo? What do you have coming up as far as we've got fishing rodeo this weekend? It's this Saturday. You need to get registered. Tell them again how to register.
www.springfieldtn.gov/fish.
Do it one more time.
www.springfieldtn.gov/fish.
Okay, so you need to get your kids registered. And what are the ages again on that?
Up to 14.
Up to 14, and they have categories and all the different, they have groupings of prizes and those kinds of things. You'll give away some bikes again, I'm guessing.
The grand prizes.
The grand prizes will be some bikes.
Most fish caught, biggest fish, boy and girl.
So you'll have 4 bikes?
2 bikes, 2 bicycles, and then 2 big coolers.
Okay, so
coolers are full of
just all
kinds
fun
of goodies.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you've either got the most fish caught will get which one? Which would you know which one's getting which?
I think the biggest fish is the bicycles.
Okay, and then
the most fish caught is the coolers.
Don't hold him to that.
Don't hold me to that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun. And I still, we were walking around trying to get the secrets to the ones that were catching just so many fish. What are you using as bait?
Yeah.
If you can figure that out, because some of them, boy, it's a closely guarded secret. It's
and no artificial lures.
Okay.
Live bait only.
Live bait only, no artificial lures. Now, when you say live bait, can I use chicken liver?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because, we use chicken livers and
crickets,
we use
chicken livers, hot
crawfish,
dogs.
hot dog, anything like that, but no artificial lures. Okay. And see, I've never had luck. I'm not much for fishing. I want to do it because my grandson, my grandkids love it. And so I want to get to where I can fish my creek well. And I've had everybody try to teach me. And it seems like they say the artificial lures are better for that kind of fishing, but I've never had any luck with it. To me, the best way to fish in a creek is to get a little crawfish out from under a rock and put that on a hook and throw that out there because that's what they're feeding on.
That's what they're eating.
Yeah, so I would think that would be the better to me. But we got
catfish, you could do some chicken livers or hot dogs if you're wanting to come out and catch the catfish and then whole kernel corn.
Yeah.
We get a lot to do with the kernel corn, catching bluegill and crappie and stuff like that. Worms.
Yeah, good old-fashioned worms.
Good old-fashioned worms.
I had a little, I used to dig worms and sell them in my community back home when I was little. I was an entrepreneur. I'd sell fishing worms.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was that kid. I was a little redneck tomboy, man. I was just like, I was not the girl. You give me a doll and I'd, tear it apart and do something else with it, blow it up, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I was that kid. But fishing rodeo coming up. If you want to go fishing for free, this is your Saturday to do that. The kiddos for sure. Yep.
Friday night. Friday night. We need the rain to hold off because, this is First Fridays.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we got 4 on the floor. Going to be there starting to sing at 6:30.
Okay.
Got all the vendors. Everybody's going to be out. Food trucks.
What are we seeing for the forecast? Is it looking kind of messy?
I don't even look anymore until Thursday evening and Friday morning.
I'll take a glance.
Because it's
going to be fine.
Changes so randomly and hope, we've been in that pattern of that 5:30, 6 o'clock storm that comes through.
Yeah.
And with the musicians, that's just not a good
fit.
They're not undercover.
No, so that's just it. It's in the wide open. We need that good weather. And first Friday night markets are so much fun. And of course, last month it had to get canceled. And it's just, the weather is the weather.
It's tough.
Yeah. But the plan is for first Friday night market. And when does it all set up? You said when do the bands start on Friday
Band will start at 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
So
all the vendors are set up and ready to go by 6.
Yeah.
You can start showing up around 6.
And we've got just such a picturesque downtown. It is just so wonderful and so fun.
Yep.
You cannot beat it. It is just a great time.
And then June 20th, Friday, June 20th, starts our movie in the parks.
Fun.
So that's at Martin Luther King Jr. Park. Kids can get on the splash pad in the playground, watch a movie. Movie starts at 7. Mm-hmm. And it's the first movie is Moana 2.
So you set that screen up off the splash pad? Like in that vicinity, where do you put the movie? I mean, where do you have that set up?
You know where, and you probably know this, where you follow the sidewalk down and go into the track entrance where the big 2 gates are?
Yep.
Right there in the grass.
Oh, okay.
So it's facing back towards the splash pad so everybody can sit in the grass.
Okay.
right
Good
there.
deal.
And then behind them's the splash pad, and to the left of them is the playground.
Fun.
And keep an eye on the kiddos.
Very good. Is Splash Pad just tearing it up, having a big time?
Yes.
I know it is.
You know, this Memorial Day weekend, we didn't have a lot of folks come out there because we've had cold Memorial Day weekends for the last 3 or 4 years.
I know it.
Yeah.
It's been kind of weird. We had, and my daughter-in-law's mother has a pool up in Mount Juliet, and so that's when they opened the pool, and it was cold.
Yeah.
Those kiddos still swam, because they're crazy.
Yeah.
But it was chilly.
We've had a real good crowd Monday and Tuesday.
Good.
Yeah.
And the kids, it's just going to get busier and busier out there. I mean, as it warms up, and the hot temperatures are coming, guys. It's coming. And it's definitely going to be a wonderful summer here in Robertson County and Springfield. And again, so just kind of recap and talking about the different events, and then right after that, would the next one then be the big Freedom Fest?
Freedom Fest, July 3rd. Gates open at 4:30.
And so, and we've got is the guy that's singing is one of our American Idol people.
Will Mosley.
Okay.
Runner up.
Right.
Yep.
Where's he from? Is he local or?
No. I
didn't know if he was local or not, but it'll be a great thing. I've heard that Buzzy might end up doing some music. Is Buzzy going to play some?
Supposed to open up.
Buzzy Poole?
Yeah.
Our mayor?
Yeah.
Mayor Buzzy?
Yep.
So that'll be a fun time.
Buzzy and friends.
Yeah, he was supposed to be playing at the First Friday Night Market.
In May.
So, yeah. So it'll be good. If you've never heard our mayor, he can throw it down.
Yeah.
He's a good musician. They have a great band, and so they are excellent. And so that'll be a lot of fun. What else is coming up after that? So
we've got All-Stars going on right now, so we're fixing to start playing some tournaments, and then hopefully all of our teams will make it out of district into state, and then we'll send them off to different areas across the state of Tennessee and play in the state tournament. And if we can win some state championships, we'll move on to the World Series.
Cool. That's always
all
fun.
That's going on. We've
That
got
is always fun.
soccer signups are going on right now. Football and cheer signups are going on through the end of this week, and then they'll close out. What else we got going on? We got Friday night markets. We got the fishing rodeo. We got movie nights coming. So, yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. Got Gardner Street Park that is so close. Won't be long. The playground will open up, the new restroom facility, the pickleball courts. I think all that should be done by I hate to give out a date because every time I think it's going to get done, we get a bunch of rain and it puts them behind. But we're close. Should be by July, 1st of July sometime. We should be ready to cut the ribbon and turn everybody loose.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's looking good too.
Gardner Street it really looks awesome.
It's so cool. But, and I mean, it's like, and before we know it, we'll be back into the fall and getting all into, you mentioned before we move off the All-Star stuff, because, I was talking a little bit tongue in cheek. Hang on. I'm sorry. My husband's sending me like all kinds of text here. I'm sorry. I'm missing an iPad this morning, so I'm a little distracted. No, but before we get off the subject of baseball, I was kind of tongue in cheek, criticizing how much baseball we play. But I mean, these kids love it, and it's great. And you were talking about All-Stars, and so help me understand. Do we have travel teams that form out of here that also play? But then you have the All-Stars, because I know that was one thing. Because since my grandson was on the travel team, he didn't qualify to be on All-Stars, at least not in the area where he's playing up in Mount Juliet. How is it structured here? Do y'all have travel teams out of here?
Well, one thing we do not play on Saturdays unless we get a bunch of rain. So we try to keep we keep Saturdays open because we do have kids in our league in baseball and softball that play travel ball. Oh. So we want you to play travel ball, but we want you to participate in the rec league also. We want you to support Springfield.
Oh, well, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's one thing. We just Saturdays are just insane for us right now. And so when do you play then your rec league?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay.
Now, we've played, I think we had 3 Saturdays that we did makeup games this year just because we had so much rain.
So much rain, you didn't have any choice.
Sometimes we can't help it. But if we stay off of Saturdays, then, that boy or girl that's playing travel ball, if they have a Friday night game, but they've also got a Friday night travel ball game, they would only miss that game.
Right.
So the league that we play under requires that you play at least 11 games under the umbrella that we play for, diamond baseball and diamond softball. So you got to play at least 11 games. So as long as you get your 11 games in now, if you're scheduled for 11 or more games and the rain just prevents us from doing that,
right,
then you're still okay. You're in a good spot. You can still qualify for All-Stars.
So did your kids play baseball, and did you do travel ball and all that stuff? Were you one of them crazy baseball people?
Yeah, baseball and softball. My daughter, they both did.
You.
My son did it whenever he was 7, 8, and then whenever he was in 9s, we did not do it. Well, yeah, we did it at 9s, and then whenever he got into being 10, 11, 12s, he decided not to play baseball any longer. So I tell this story all the time. I spent all them years in the backyard. Put your foot here, put your foot there, step forward, don't step out, throw, catch, blah, 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 everything. Basketball, I had a court in my driveway. Let's go play ball. Let's shoot free throws.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden at like 13 or 14 years old, he goes to the country club one day and swims with his buddies and picks up golf clubs, and he goes to college on a scholarship to play golf.
You just never know, but it's that athleticism that you taught them early on that was really the foundation, don't you think?
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
You just I just want my kids to have that athleticism and that love just to move.
Now get
up and move.
Where we ate and drank travel ball was with my daughter.
Okay.
Taylor played. She played travel baseball or softball, and
I'm sure you had great memories and great friends.
Yeah.
That's
it was. She could have. She was exceptional. She went to college too on a scholarship. She went on a scholarship for softball.
There you go. Yeah. So I was teasing early on. I know.
But you got to know. Yeah. She stopped. While she was in high school, she didn't do it no more. We didn't do it no more. I said, I'm not. You're either good enough to go or you're not. I'm not going to keep spending all this money.
Right.
So, she had an opportunity to go, and she went and played for a while. She didn't finish.
Yeah.
She played for a while, and then she just went on in life and did her thing, became a mom.
There you go.
So
good life. But that athleticism, I have some sons that do some hiring, for the companies that they work for, and they say when they see athletes, it gives them an edge because they know there's a work ethic there, and that athleticism, it will make them go okay, because that's something they look for when they're hiring.
Yeah.
Or people who've got some athleticism to them and that they've got that work ethic. So it's important. And you can explore your athleticism through the Springfield Parks and Recreation Director, Terry Martin. And big invite for the fishing tournament again, because I saw Shawn come in here and we'll get to hear all about her. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, Shawn. But anyway, she's like, I don't even want to talk about it. But anyway, so
get registered. Get registered. www.springfieldtn.gov/fish. Get registered.
Very good.
Yep.
Get registered. And
Gates will open about 6:15 that morning. You don't have to get there that early unless you're just dead set on getting that special spot that you fished at every single year. Then you can. But we won't let the lines won't go in the water till 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll make sure everybody gets there and everybody's on the bank. Everybody's got their spots. We'll do a little countdown at 8 o'clock, lines in, fish for 2 hours. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll start calling everybody's name to come up there to the shelter to get a prize.
And check in how many fish you caught. They'll go around and kind of see.
Actually, TWRL, about 9:30, they'll start walking. Mm-hmm. And then they do a count. They see who's got the biggest. They got a scale with them. They'll weigh the fish. So they're involved.
Very much.
They help us out. Jason and Joey, they're
and I see Caleb out there too.
Caleb got promoted, but he still comes out there with us. Yeah, he comes out there with us. That's right. So they go around, do their thing, and make it even that much better.
Well, it's going to be a good time. We're going to pray off the rain for First Friday Night Market and for the fishing rodeo on Saturday. I appreciate you, brother. Always.
Yeah, thank you.
Good week to have you in.
Thanks for bringing us in.
Absolutely.
Hope you find your iPad.
Oh, I know.
And I hope Shawn just got a warning.
I know, me too. And we'll get you back in here before Freedom Fest. Okay, sound good?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Terry Martin. He is our director for the Parks and Rec for Springfield, and they do such an exceptional job. And I imagine about that same time, they'll be ready to open up the new park. So it's going to be cool stuff. I'm going to let Shawn Elmore come on in here. But while she is making her way in, I'm going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. If you have questions, no matter what kind of question you might have from the real estate community. I mean, if you're just thinking about buying, if you're wanting to keep an eye on property that adjoins yours. So, hey, if something happens, let me know. I mean, those kinds of things. If you've got a particular zip code you're interested in, you can tell them that. If you're just thinking about selling and you're not really sure what that would entail, what your property is actually worth, those kinds of things, they can help you out with all of those details. Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. You can check them out by calling Rebecca 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Go to sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy.robertsoncounty.com. They've also got an opportunity for you if you just want to kind of see what's the market value of your property. You can do a market analysis, a free market analysis by reaching out to Barry and Rebecca. I did that because I just kind of want to know if I wanted to pull some equity out of my farm. What do I have available to me? And they can help you do that. We were set up at the Kilgore Festival, and that's something that they were offering for folks. And just all kinds of services. Barry is the broker here in Springfield. She is an agent in White House. They brought those two offices together to bring you a new branch in the Exit tree. That's what they've been with the entire time. Exit Prime Realty. Exit Prime Realty. Barry and Rebecca Richards. Just Google them and find them on social medias. You'll find all kinds of info about them with just a quick search. And again, Rebecca's number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Always, please let them know that U-Turn sent you. Shawn Elmore's in the house. I'm sorry. I was trying not to say, you were getting a ticket, and then it just kind of slipped out. And I was like, did you get a ticket or a warning?
I got a warning.
Yes. We were praying.
Thank
it's
you. Thank you for them. They were sweet fellas.
God bless them.
I was not going that fast.
I know.
Some mornings I'm probably going fast. I deserved a ticket. So.
Well, and it's like I do the same thing. You get distracted.
I was rushing here.
Yeah.
I had to go get a court file. I have to be in court today, so I had to go get a file, and so I was on the. So
yeah, and you look lovely. You look court ready. God bless. Just praying Jesus over all the situations you have to deal with this morning. God bless you. You deal with some tough stuff.
I'll be in another county. So
yeah, but you deal with some tough stuff. People don't have any idea.
No, they don't. They don't. It's heavy today, so I appreciate the prayers.
So sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll be praying for you because I just I just kind of got that feel from you when you texted me, and I was like, man,
yeah,
I just I can't imagine doing what you do, and I love you, and I'm proud of you.
It's not
proud
me.
to know
Some
you.
days I just take a breath and say, come on, Lord, I just need you to be. That's my prayer today, is that the Lord's just before me and that we get to be the voice for these kids. It's not necessarily the parents, it's getting to be a voice for a child sometimes that you're not, they can't be a voice for themselves, or they can't recognize when, the trauma that they've endured or anything like that. So,
well, it's like I was talking, Tiffany Thompson's just a dear friend of mine, and she's Safe Baby Court, and she talks about the early childhood trauma, and you just do not think about how it impacts kids at such an early age, and it's just breathtaking.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I lived that life. Many folks know we adopted our sweet Mimi, and we had trauma at birth and in the womb, and we have lived that life for the last 10 years and did not understand. I mean, I teach parenting. I know, I go to counseling sessions with her, and we've spent, I couldn't tell you, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. One month, my husband looked at me and he said, we could make 2 car payments on what we just spent for counseling this month.
Good Lord. Oh.
And our insurance, we had to pay out-of-pocket expense first. And so we've done this for years. But it's so expensive to get the right kind of help. And I say that because there is help, but sometimes you have to go deeper and bigger and wider. And we've been really fortunate to be, in the position to have resources because of what I do, or because of, just our insurance. My husband has a good job and benefits. And there's been many times that we've looked at each other and thought, what would we have done if we didn't have the benefits that we do, or what have you. But there's been times we had to do, the out of the pocket and thing. And it's been tough. It's been tough. We finally gotten to a point that we feel like we can breathe. I will tell you, 10 years coming. She turned 10 in April. And this past weekend is the first time she's ever put dishes away.
Oh, wow.
And we've started a new chore list, and there's been chores all through her life, but there's been, it's really, with the diagnosis that she has, and they're, a page long, but And I don't want to label her because I think she's an overcomer by the blood of the Lamb and the word of her testimony. I believe that we're teaching her to be an overcomer. But at the same time, that childhood trauma from the womb, it truly has impacted her. I mean, the addiction issues and things like that. I mean, we went to the dentist and the dentist looked at me and said, we can't do anything because we can't give her anything because of, the addiction exposure. And I was just like, I remember as a mother just being blown away thinking, oh, wow, like this really hits home, And so, we're living out the life that people hear about. And so I had a friend, talk about wanting to do a adoption, like just round table with parents that have adopted. And I laughed and said, yeah. And what about all the, all the stuff that comes with that, because that's really something that we should probably look at, just have a support group for Pete's sake and be able to just cry. There's been many a nights that we've just not gotten sleep. I mean, we're 10 years old and age 6, we were up 6 to 8 times a night. And I'm an old lady, I have 2 older kids. And
I can imagine.
it's been a very, it's been a really beautiful journey, to be able to say, okay, we've made it through this. Now what's, so we're working on those things. But, when she, helped with laundry this weekend, she actually folded her own load of laundry. My husband
huge
said,
milestones.
Huge milestones. And I say little things like that's normal that, for, we try to make sure that she can, do things. And this year, and I will just brag on, her for school. I mean, this is the first year that we have seen her academically, I want to say, accomplish goals. I mean, we have struggled in school from day one. Poor little Christy Suter at Greenbrier Elementary. I love you, Miss Christy. You're our angel. But Miss Christy would come out and she would have her legs and arms wrapped around the yellow pillars at Greenbrier Elementary School. And we had to peel her off and throw her in the school and she would be fine in a couple minutes. But I mean, literally, she would hide under tables. Miss Brooke Callis we were in her IEP meeting this year, and she said, hey, she's not been under the table this year. I mean, so like these are real life moments for us in scenarios. I was in Walmart in September. We knew we needed a lot more help in September. I was in Walmart in September of this past year of 2024, and my husband was on shift, and I was standing there and she wanted a sweater that had a heart on it. And I said, no, we'll get that later. We're just here for 3 things. And so we were kind of rushing through the store and she stood there and had a meltdown. And 40 minutes later, the store manager, the security folks, and 2 other employees, there was 4 of them, and then a 5th one walked over to help me. But it was, I mean, I was like a rag doll, and I'm a big girl, so it's not like I can be pushed around, but it's like supernatural, force when she comes at you. But I had a crossbody purse on. She drug me around the store. I mean, it was pretty intense. And the lady that was watching me at first thought I was abusing her. And my husband was in my earbud, and I said, I might go to jail today because if she threatens me again, and she charged me, knocked me. I mean, she almost knocked me over. I was holding onto a rack, just trying to not, and I was like, we've got to go. Let's go. I went over, I checked out, and I acted like I was leaving. So maybe she would say, Mom, come on, and she'd get mad and she'd walk out with me. But she's what we have always said. She's a runner. She absconds. She runs. She flight, freeze constantly in that mode. And she had yelled, screamed, hit, did all the things. And at this point, this lady realized I was the one needing help and sent me help. And the guy came over and said, do you need help? And I said, I do. And he said, what do you need? And I said, I need somebody to go pull my car up to the door because if she ever gets out, she's running and we're going to have a problem. Yeah. And he goes, okay. And I said, here is my key, set off the alarm, go find my car. It's it was, it looks like this.
God bless you.
And so, I mean, I know her. And when she realized that she was so out here, the amygdala's not working, she's the dopamine's crazy, blah, blah, blah. So, we've done the brain science with her. And by this point, she is so overwhelmed. She slid down my leg. She wrapped both of her hands around my legs. And she looked up at me with this sweet little pitiful eyes after all this time. And she goes, Mama, I'm scared. And she started hyperventilating and she started going into that panic mode, had a panic attack. And We got her to the car, but it was like I had to wrap her up, and it's hard.
God bless you.
This is a life that we just didn't realize was coming at us. My husband said, "What do I do? I can't help you." And I said, "There's people here that's going to help me get her to the car." Of course, she's tried to jump out of the car at 80 miles an hour going down the interstate, 75, 80 miles an hour. And so I had the child lock on. We put her in the car. She really was like a zombie. She just kind of, it's almost like a balloon deflates. And we got home, she took a nap, but she still has a pacifier at 10. I'm one of those parents that's like, cut it off. I'm not going to do after 2 years old. I've always been that. And the therapist looked at me and said, Miss Elmore, she is going to do this, this, and this. So these issues are real, and they're only getting worse. You will see them in the school system. You are seeing.
I'm seeing them in the school system already.
We warned the school system years ago when we started seeing these opioids. I even said, we had a meeting one day, and I said, "This is coming. We better be ready." I'm living this out now in my home. You're living it out in the school system. Video games and all this stuff. I mean, it's just this morning. My thing was, "Hey, baby, you got to get up." We have goals that we set for her, and she's doing a lot better. So it's taken a long time. Life's not perfect. It's still really hard.
Well, I love you, and prayers for you, sister. You just blow my mind. Everything you do. I tell you what just blows my mind. Let's just kind of the elephant in the room. You were here with your sweet nurse, and what is her name?
Ann Weaver. Mm-hmm.
And we were so excited. We got the ultrasound device, all this kind of stuff. We were just like, and I mean, days later, you had a pipe burst.
Catastrophic flood.
And here, you talk about just, if you want to see a display of, we were talking about ugly, that's what my friend Tim Martin used to refer to, the forces that we are against when they know we are fighting in the name of Jesus to make this world better, that he's going to come after us. And it was just an absolute spiritual assault. That's how I saw that. Yeah. It was an absolute, because you're just like on the cusp of this. We're just excited, and it's this, crescendo, and it's like, it was a spiritual attack, man. And
it hadn't stopped us, but
God bless. No, it hasn't. Y'all kept going. Go for it. Fill everybody in.
Let me tell you about this thing. All the things that I've learned with my child at my home came into play. I think you were at our event. We had a parent and a grandparent that came in that needed help.
Yes.
God measures our steps. So regardless of like the influence of how we get here, like I have said this about this little girl, should have been Catherine is her name. And she testified literally on the video that Barry made. Barry Richards is our producer.
We were bragging on a while ago.
Yes. Yep. So he did this video, and Catherine said, "I wish I was there I should have been there when I had Grayson." But she said my life would have been so different because we would have had that parenting skill on board. So here, fast forward, the child's a lot older, but now we're getting to teach that level of parenting. Mm-hmm. So the flood happens days after, and we had a stack of referrals that was about 2 inches by the time the girls got the calls. But we had to take a pause break. I won't lie. We've had to close because we had to completely gut our office. Everything was in pods. I actually smiled this morning when I pulled up and all the pods are gone. Praise God.
The Lord. Yeah.
So we have them all undone. We're in there about 90%. I mean, we're still unpacking boxes. My office is, I'm just now finding some things. So we're still in the process of unpacking, but we're at 90%. My staff is incredible. We had so many wonderful people rally around us to get us back open, but we did virtual stuff for a little bit. We just had to say, hey, this is what we can do today. So it was literally taking our appointments every day, day by day, and making a decision of who we could deal with. Now, we made sure no one went without, formula, diapers, clothing, all was packed up. At one point, we just said, "Here, what do you need? We're gonna pack this up in a week."
Right.
And so we had to completely. There was nothing left on the floors except for 5 desks, and they had to be emptied. Mm-hmm. So it was a complete gut. So this is 1109 South Main 2.0 renovation. Hallelujah, restoration.
Yeah.
We got in there when we had to dry out all the flooring. They basically looked at us and said, it's water travels. So it went from the very back of the building to the front of the building. They had to rip out the entire kitchen, which is not done yet. every nook and cranny. We walked in there on Saturday.
Can't even imagine.
This flood happened on Thursday morning. It sounded like Niagara Falls when I walked in. I knew at the back door something was wrong.
Oh my gosh.
And when I walked in, I had on shoes higher than I'm wearing today, and it was over my shoes. So it was at some points it was about 2.5 to 3 inches through the building. So
Incredible.
We walked through, got the water turned off, and I'll just be really honest. I think I was devastated. Then we started cleaning up. Then we realized how far it traveled. So we have to get in the dehumidifiers. We had to get in the, Serve Pro came in and the fans. So that was Thursday. On Saturday, I'm in there with the cabinet gentleman and Ben Johnson from 5 Star. And I look up at one of the walls and I'm like, something's wrong. And I said, that's got a crack in it. So all the joint compound where we had built out our rooms for the client's side, with all the moisture, it pulled out and it literally cracked.
Oh, yeah.
And when it did that, it cracked so severely by the 3rd day of the dehumidifier that they had to go in and repair all that. So it was almost like wave upon wave upon wave. And so, we navigated and we, at some point it was like, okay, here you go, Lord, what are we going to do with this? So we're praying that, our deductible, we have somebody that has come to us and said, okay, we would be willing to talk to you about what your deductible is and what the insurance hasn't covered. We have a lot of expenses. I'm going to meet with the accountant today and work on what those expenses are, but we're in the deficit at this point. We had to replace things that we never thought we'd replace, every rug in our place. So wallpaper, rugs. I mean, it was just such a nightmare. So we are open, our doors flung wide open on Monday. We didn't miss a beat. I'll just be really, really honest.
You really didn't.
We looked at each other and we were like, oh my, so we are just cooking with got.
What do you need from the community?
Lots of prayer, number one,
Of course.
just to navigate through, we're 20 something plus referrals in. So now we're trying to navigate how to make sure that we methodically get everyone in, that we, supply those needs. So making sure that those folks are taken care of, making sure our folks that are typically and then financially,
always.
And unfortunately, when you're in a situation like this, you don't know until you don't know what they're going to pay for. That's one of the things that we're navigating now. So I have an incredible board. We've sat down, we've had to, we had to go ahead and we had to rip out every cabinet. I had custom cabinets from a miracle that just dropped in our lap. They were free. We painted them. If everybody had been there, we loved that teal green. Everybody did. I think one of our contractors about cried with me because he said, Miss Shawn, our beautiful building. I said, I know. I mean, it looked like at one point a tornado hit us. So I walked out of my office and told them not to pull out the cabinets. I said, let's dry under them. Let's try to put the holes in there and dry. Yeah. And I walked out to a saw, that's horrible sound. And I said, I told you not to do this. So that's when I think it hit me that this was catastrophic. My biggest thing, and I think the heart of my staff, our biggest thing, to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you about my ultrasound in just a minute, but the hardest thing for me was knowing that we were going to have to take that break in services because I know how that affects the people that walk in our door. And so that was the heartbreaking part for all of us is and the girls were fighting to do that, but then we all kind of had to just step back and pray about it and be closed because we ended up going with epoxy flooring. So this won't happen again. We sop it up, move on. And so it was just, it took us, we had to make some hard decisions, but here we are. So we've been very blessed with the process. You said about our ultrasound, we have our mobile unit. We were able to do, if we needed to use that, it was fine. We could. We actually saw people with no floor, with nothing on the walls. We just said, watch your step. I mean, we did it, But we have a client, and I don't know if we shared this, but we had a client that when we opened were we open for ultrasound the day that we came here? I don't think we had opened yet.
You were just about to. I mean, we were just on the edge of it.
We opened for ultrasound. Our set date was on April 1st. On March 28th or so, we had a lady that called us that was abortion-minded, really needed to talk to us, wanted an ultrasound. We told her to come in. We went ahead and did an ultrasound that following Monday, and she came back. She wanted to do it. We did another follow-up, and we found out this baby was twins. If you remember, If you remember, last year, God kept saying it's a year of double portion. So we got
Wow,
two ultrasounds.
that just gives me
two
chills.
babies.
Wow.
A couple days later, Ann scanned another lady, and it's twins.
Wow.
So we have two sets of twins that have just been crazy. So
Saved.
it's just gorgeous. I mean, one was a model scan, one was just one, but to see this lady and to watch the progression of what this has done for her has been beautiful. So, she's been able to make a conscious decision that she can live with. There's no pressure. We loved her, well, but she's been part underneath the flooring. Before we put the other flooring down, we had a couple scriptures, but we wanted to really go in and just put like a layer of who Christ is to us. And so we did that this time under our flooring. And God kept speaking to me that I'm to stand this year. He said, I'm not asking you to run to the right, run to the left. I don't want you to run forward or ahead of me. I want you to stand and pivot as I ask you to. So that's been my word for me for 2025 for Shawn Elmore. And that also kind of obviously bleeds out into the work that I do and whatnot. And he also has given me the word advocate. And for whatever reason, I'll be talking to somebody and he says, I'm their advocate. I've been praying for a gentleman that's been accused of something. And he said, I am his advocate.
Wow.
And so I couldn't get up from my desk. I was dealing with the insurance guy. And I looked at my girls and I said, I want y'all to go write what the Lord represents to you under our foundation. That's our foundational piece. And I have these pictures. It's just amazing. But I looked at one of the girls and I said, I want you to write the word advocate all the way down that hallway.
Wow.
And when this little girl came in, we're closed. This is the day that we could not even be in the building. And I called the guy that was doing the floors and I said, look, I have to, we have one appointment at 8:00 to do an ultrasound. Then we can unplug it and move it. But I said, it has to be done. You're just going to have to wait. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, we'll get started on the other side. And I said, sure. So she's walking down over that word. And as she's doing that, I videoed. I said, can you walk down that hall again? Because it hit me. It was a whoa moment. It was it was a bone and marrow shaking. Like there was a reverberation of the Holy Spirit in Shawn. Mm-hmm. And we got to talk about what that meant. And we had this moment with her. It was really a sweet moment. Well, when she got to come back in and she was in awe. She just said, I never knew that someone would fight for me or talk to me or give me the time of day. And she said, basically talked to me and Ann and said, you've been all right. She's talked to us about being her advocate, being the person and the support person. And I don't know what God's doing in this season. And it's very much a season for folks right now, but there's a lot of warfare. There's a lot of battling going on, but the Lord is our victory.
Amen.
And that's the posture that I have to have today.
Amen.
Our doors are open. We want to advocate for the child. We want to advocate for the family. And we're going to come up against that. We understand that that's not what everybody wants. And we want to give well. We want to love well. That's our motto. And so, if that's just standing and that's just loving someone that's really unlovable, I got on one of my staff members and I was on the browbeating end of someone that wasn't happy with what was going on in their case and situation. And I said, well, guess what? I said, you have to work. Everybody wants to be handed something, it seems like nowadays, but it's like there's a process. So sometimes we just have to love somebody well and they're crazy. And by the time this is over, this guy said, hey man, I'm sorry that I just took everything out on you. I said, you're okay, bud. But I appreciate that he noticed that. But that posture of just standing and letting God be our advocate, I think is probably where I'm at in that season today.
I love it.
So we're open. We're ready for people. We love everyone. We love this community for reaching out to us, continuing to love us and help our families,
And we need to do a flood fundraiser. I don't know what that means, but I'm just, I'm not you. But I'm just saying, guys, I'm just a couple of things occurred to me just as we're sitting here talking.
I've had some folks reach out and just say, what can we do? And
we got to do something.
I really think a lot's going to be covered, but I think recovering,
still,
our financial numbers they're down. I think most nonprofits are, but It's been a little intense.
It's been a hit.
Yeah.
And
I don't
this
know if I've had this much warfare to be honest
is
with you.
absolute warfare.
In a year's period,
Yeah.
we've been here, but when we opened, I think it kind of brings you back to, whoa, this is so, yeah. So
It's like I've always said, and I always compare this to my trips to Mexico. When I first started going to Mexico, the reason why we go down there, we do our little medical clinics, we do our optical clinics. We're trying to help them improve those communities from the inside out, so they'll have a country that they want to live in, that they have an opportunity to have a good life for their family, and it's making a difference down the Baja Peninsula. I'm part of Baja Missions, and I'm just honored to be a part of that. But as every time when I first started doing that, before I knew you, before I knew a lot of the things going on in this community, I was like, we need to do this in our community. Yeah. And then it was like right away I met you and all that. These are the things that are changing the community from the inside out. Be a part of what's going on at Open Door and so many other nonprofits. Right now, Open Door needs some love because of what's happened with this flood. And man, we need just to be pouring into y'all.
let me tell you what happened yesterday. And I've got 1 minute, and I'm gonna make this quick.
And Lee Marie's on the way in for the Go Show, so we'll have her in a minute.
I had a young lady that I've been working with for a minimum of 18 months. I think it's been over 2 years, honestly. Yeah. But this young lady absolutely hated me when I walked in the room. Like, I would walk in the room and she would just hate me. Yeah. To the point that I offended her by just being in the building, right? Right. And so, I kind of tried to back off, but I'm still the executive director and have to make the decisions and have to have conversations with people a lot of times. So we navigated this, and I think she realized that there was something genuine, that I did care, that she's learning to trust me. But yesterday, I had to ask her the hard questions, and I looked at her and I said, I'm asking her the hard questions, and here they come. And so we had to have these hard questions. Her her family's being restored, her kids have come home. But I looked at her, and there was a simple thing that she wasn't honest about. And it wasn't necessarily to me that it was more of, she just didn't say something to me. And I called her out on it. Mm-hmm. Shawn's going to call you out, okay? But I looked at her and I said, I want to encourage you to be honest and own this and say, hey, I've talked to Miss Shawn. She thinks that I need to go ahead and she said, no one's ever told me I had, to be honest. Like there were two things that she, instead of telling the truth, she wanted to just skirt over them and lie about them. Mm-hmm. And we had a conversation about integrity and honesty right there on the spot with her life coach. And maybe next time we'll have my life coach in here. But it was just one of these moments where we got to invest in truth and love and say, why do you feel the need not to just be honest and own it, sister? I said, You are a strong woman. You have come so far. Own this. Own your crap. Yeah. Walk it out. It's better. Listen, take it on. Take the bull by the horns. It's better to own it and roll with it than have to come back and completely disengage, have to lie about something else. It's just and we talked about having to stack lies and all this other stuff. And it was she goes, oh, okay. And I said, okay, let's do this right now. So she ended up texting, and I'm going to tell her I told on this on the air, but she ended up texting this person right there. We did the text together. Uh-huh. And she goes, oh, I feel so much better. Wow. Inside out. Yeah. And I said, the next time, own it, sis. Yes. You got this. And she just looked at me and she goes, well, I did feel better. It was a moment of, that truth and love moment, right? So I know we have to go. Thank you. Lee Marie's
running us off. She's running us out.
Give me a hug, sister.
So musicians from Sunday Morning Country coming
fun. That's awesome. But I'll tell you, we'll continue this conversation. Be praying for Open Door Pregnancy and Resource Center. I love you, friend, and good luck in court. Be praying over my sister Shawn here. She's got a heavy day on her, and love you, friend, and love you guys. Thank you again, Lee Marie, for covering for me very last minute, so I could go up to Kansas City and see my sweet nephew and his beautiful family, and part of his beautiful family. I didn't get to see one of my nieces, but I digress. She's coming on, and you got another full hour of local programming here on 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for Lee Marie and The Go Show.